Hello ladies and gents, welcome to a new night point of view review. In front of us is the new MG HS. This is the plug-in hybrid. This is also the top luxury trim, and we have two powertrains. The 1.5 TGDI 4-cylinder turbo petrol producing 142 horsepower, and electric which is 184. Combined system horsepower is limited to 272 horsepower. It is linked to 2-speed automatic. I think the petrol has maybe like more gears, but basically it works one gear for the electric motor, and I guess for the petrol that does drive the front wheels, but sometimes it acts also as a generator. Now I won't bother you too much with the technical details. Just a little correction from my review: the AC charger can take 7 kilowatts and not 6.5. You can see the plug-in hybrid has this step. That's what it distincts it on the road from the standard petrol or the hybrid. And since it's plug-in hybrid, it has a battery which is 21.4, if I'm not mistaken. It gives you around 103 kilometers of range according to WVLTP. It's heavy, and personally I prefer the standard ICE. It was really comfortable, but this, you can feel the weight, and I feel like the suspension isn't tuned in for this extra weight of the battery. Back end, if I unlock the car, for some reason the front lights come on, as you can see, and the rear don't. So let me just flip the switch so you can see that as well. Just real quick, I can do it, and we're gonna head out to the rear lights. They really look nice. Let's get on the front and jump inside. It's kind of cold, so I'm gonna keep the lights on automatic setting, put the key in my pocket, and buckle up. Okay, so this time around, if you're regular to the channel, I didn't go to Zagreb Zadar, so I did a consumption test here in Zagreb. I was driving for 2 hours. What you are probably interested in is the driving with empty battery. How does the petrol, is it enough? Does it spend too much? Well, I've reset the trip computer, so you can't really see it here. You'll have to trust me. Now you can cycle here for the trip computer, and this is accumulated. Fuel consumption is 6.8 liters in 730 kilometers. Now I have reset from the start, but I was doing my standard consumption test driving between 60 and 80 kilometers per hour with empty battery, and when I had some battery, it's basically zero. When you have range, it's zero fuel consumption. In the hybrid mode, it occasionally turns on and it's like 1 liter, maybe 2, but once I completely depleted the battery and only ran on petrol, gentler driving, this is simulation of open road, petrol kicks in here and there, it starts charging the battery, it adds like 1 kilometer and then it stops, and the fuel consumption was between 3 and 4 liters. Now it was, the more I drive, getting close to 5. Now on the highway, I was between 5 and 6, basically 6 liters going towards 7 and 8 if you're talking about speed limits of 130 kilometers per hour. And I've charged up the battery just a little bit here, so I can demonstrate you the EV driving in. When the petrol kicks in, you're going to see my fuel consumption. I haven't connected Apple CarPlay, so I do apologize for that. I will just use the standard navigation. Sound is really good. Yeah, it's a good sound system, really good. There's just domestic music past midnight. It's actually almost 3 in the morning, so please, if you appreciate all this consumption info, give this video a like, at least a like, share. or leave a comment for my effort. And I'm a dedicated car reviewer. Okay, yeah, let's head out. Less talking, more driving. Sorry for the long introduction. I just wanted to share this consumption data. Now, okay, I forgot to switch off a few of the new pesky EU regulations. I mean, the EU or the Brussels bureaucrats, they've got a smart idea. Let's warn people when they're over speeding, when there's a speed change, or speed limit change. And they've added this camera here, so I'm going to disable this one because it can't see my eyes. It is also, when I don't have a camera on my face, also very annoying. If you just pay attention to traffic, it just starts telling you, pay attention. So you have to switch that off each drive. Now, if you watched my MG HS PHEV review, that one has my personal profile where you can just save all of these settings, and then each time you just engage that profile. And the HS doesn't have that. Actually, this car was already last year coming to the market, and last year is when I talked to MG here in Croatia, and I've suggested they should add this profile just to avoid this annoyance. And I'm afraid this model might not have it, but we'll see. Maybe they add it afterwards for a software update. Now, speed bumps. I've told you the suspension was really comfortable in the petrol I've tested, but in the plug-in hybrid I can feel the extra weight, and I feel like the suspension should have been a little bit more comfortable. You just feel this is a heavy SUV, and I feel like this should have been. Let me just lower this fan speed and temperature. So yeah, this feels like a little bit heavy and less comfortable, because the petrol was really well made. It was nice and comfortable. The HS is very nice and posh. It is well equipped. All the good stuff, if you watch the review, if you're regular to the channel, this is continuing, but with an exception of suspension. It's just not as comfortable because of the extra weight. Now I just engaged the front fog lights. We have this fog in Zagreb these last few weeks, and just gets very thick and then goes away. So, but we'll manage. Now, driving modes. I've actually just driven this one in the normal. There is comfort setting and sport setting. I really haven't played with the sport setting, to be honest. And have it very narrow. But look at this. Yeah, it goes. But I can switch here to sport setting. Now let's try it out now. Yeah, it's much faster. Now you have two recuperation settings, so you can have by default like a light. It's like a small recuperation, but I do prefer having a more recuperation, because I can brake then with the electric motor and recuperate more power back into the battery. Now when I was cruising with the petrol a little bit faster, like 80, 90, I managed to recuperate 6 kilometers back into the battery, which is also great. But I think if you're just driving on the highway 130, it will definitely not recuperate back, because it's just using the petrol to drive the car. But if you're not driving too fast, it will recuperate, not only with the electric motor recuperation, but petrol will feed the battery a little bit as well. Now if I switch to energy flow, you can see now I'm accelerating. If I let go, I'm deaccelerating. It's charging the battery, and now I'm accelerating, so it's using the juice. We're gonna go to comfort setting for a moment here. As soon as you go to the comfort setting, it resets the recuperation to the light setting, which I'm not a fan of, because I'd like to have my setting memorized. Now you might hear this pedestrian warning system. Kind of reminds me of Renault's. They have like 3 different sounds you can choose. This one has one that's very similar. Now the steering is nice and direct. You can change the settings. There's also 3 settings, but the middle setting for me is like personally just enough. And yeah, once you get used to the heavy recuperation, you'll just enjoy that, because it's something close to one-foot driving. And since this is a half electric vehicle, then you can use that, and I think it's handy. And again, it's also efficient regarding your fuel consumption and regarding your power consumption. Now, regarding power consumption, let's see here. What do we have here? We have a very low power consumption. Actually, excuse me, this is the accumulated. From the start, we have now 6 kilowatts. But when it was cold, I was getting like 20, 21. Now it's low, so we're gonna see this. And my fuel consumption is currently 4 liters, but we only passed 4.5 kilometers. Now, seats in the MG HS are very comfortable. The interior is nice and posh. When I had the petrol on test, I had the beige interior. I have to say that one looks much better. I would choose that one. And the car really made a huge, good impression. Generally, I like everything that has batteries in an electric drivetrain, but I personally am leaning towards comfortable driving. But if you want something that's more sportier, and this is the most horsepower, the most horsepower version, or the most powerful version of the HS, then you might like this sportier, firmer suspension, and I guess it makes sense. Now, here you can see also in the big digital cockpit, we have this like lanes and traffic. It's not 100% accurate. It's like showing you cars and it's not showing them, but it is a nice touch. I would say if you go here to the cluster, I showed you that in my review, you can have here the navigation. So if I go back here, you can have something else, or you can have this one's zoomed, by the way, so yeah, that's different. And you can also have this, so I'm gonna keep this a little bit as well. So you can see here power, and later when the petrol kicks in, you can see RPM. Let's speed up here a little bit. So you can hear maybe, but you can also see the RPM the petrol kicked in. Since I'm in the hybrid mode, you can also switch to full electric mode, but I haven't found the info how fast can you drive an EV. But I was driving today, and I think you can go maybe even 130. So that's good because you can drive for up to 100 kilometers. So maybe on the highway it's a little bit less. You can maybe do like 60 or 70 depending how fast you're going. But for most of you, this will be very good for your commute because you can drive for the most part EV, and then if you're going for longer road trips, you have petrol, you can just refuel and you don't have to worry about the range or the charging. And you can charge this at home. This should charge up in like 2 hours on 7 kilowatts. If you have a wall box at home, if you have a garage, if you have a cheap overnight tariff, I would definitely buy an EV rather than the plug-in hybrid. But if you just want to have an option of petrol as well, you can buy this and you're saving a lot of money. By the way, the brakes are good and not super aggressive, but firm. Yeah, one of the reasons people go for the plug-in hybrids is, still not being ready to go fully electric, but you do enjoy the electric drive, you save money, and you have the comfort of the range. I'm personally driving electric, and one of the reasons why I would go full electric rather than driving a hybrid is you have double the chance of something outside the warranty going wrong. So if you are buying this as a company car, I would say by all means, probably going to sell it while it's in warranty. But if you're planning on keeping this a long time or long term, I would rather look at a maybe standard hybrid or just pure petrol, or the alternative, buy fully electric model. Because the MG4 was an amazing EV, S5. S5 is also an amazing EV. I had it on test, and MG is also making really good electric cars. And this is the only plug-in hybrid at the moment that they have. So they're telling you, we're making good petrols and EVs, so this is just like one for those who want something in between, but that's enough. Okay, we're getting to the highway. I'm going to speed up a little bit here. It's pulling nicely even we're going slightly uphill. We're in winter tires, but the soundproof is decent. We are in an SUV, and it's always a little bit more wind resistance. Now, I really haven't played with the settings, but I know from the past few models that I tested from MG that the MG Pilot works great once you set up everything. I'm not sure if I've set up the lane assist, so it might leave me crossing. No? Okay. It's correcting me. Still a bit different than in some of other models, but this is the new version, so that might be the reason. You saw it mark the lane red, so let me just see if I can go to the side here. Okay, same thing, but here's the thing, it doesn't keep you in the lane, it bounces you left and right like a ping pong. I think there might be a setting that keeps you in the lane, because I think I remember from the ICE counterpart that it was just working normally. Now the car is slowing down I can even change here the distance and make it shorter, slowing down for that semi in front, or a lorry, whatever you call that in your part of the world. Just call that a truck. Yeah, overall, very good car. we're still driving EV. I was honestly expecting that I would deplete the battery by now, but the range is actually very good. It's as displayed, you know. So when you charge it up and it says 100 kilometers, you can actually do 100 kilometers if you're, you know, doing normal cruising speed. If you're in a highway here in Croatia, 130, maybe that's going to be a little bit less. Unfortunately, I haven't tried that out. I really wanted to, but it was just honestly too much travel for me and tests. It's end of the year. I just need a break. I'm like burning out a little bit because I'm traveling on a 300 kilometer route every week, and it's a little bit too much. Now the petrol has kicked in. You can see the RPMs at the bottom, but the petrol is actually quite good. It's not loud. It's nice and quiet. When it was trying to recharge the battery, I saw sometimes it went to like 2000 or briefly like 3000 RPM. Now it switched off, but it was a little bit noisy when it was in this generator mode and charging the battery. But otherwise, when you're just normally driving, it's not that loud. It's just nice and quiet. Now we're gonna do 0 to 100, but by now we've passed almost 18 kilometers and our fuel consumption was 5 point something, a little bit, around 5 liters, and air consumption 3.3. Now this is of course maybe a too short, but I did tell you the consumption, and I'm just saying it because we're probably going to ruin it with a 0 to 100, but 0 to 100 is, if I'm not mistaken, 6.8 seconds, which should be decent for an SUV, if we're being honest. For 272 horsepower, feels adequate. Okay, so I switched to sport mode. I'm in the hybrid mode. I'm gonna floor it, brake, gas, and let go. Brake check. So brakes are good. It was nice. The petrol kicked in, but later I felt like it was using the electric motor and just pushing forward. Okay, so time to wrap up the HS plug-in hybrid. Now, this time I was focusing on the differences. The HS is generally very nice and posh looking. Interior is well built. The exterior looks nice, and it made good impressions when I first tested the ICE model. Plug-in hybrid really isn't that bad when you consider everything, all the pros and cons. Price. This model is 41,000 euros, and you don't have any incentives anymore for the plug-in hybrids. Governments realize that people aren't really charging their plug-in hybrids when they buy them on companies, because the governments do force people or companies to, you know, go green. And yeah, this honestly will for most customers be a little bit too expensive. If this is not a company car, for private individuals, so I believe most of you will go for the pure petrol or for the hybrid. I will have hybrid sometime later in 2026. This is still 2025 December, but yeah, stay tuned for that one as well. And My usual spot is now taken, so I'll just park elsewhere, like here. And yeah, I'm just gonna get out a little bit so you can see the car. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it here. I hope this data about consumption, and probably a lot of you were wondering how much does it actually spend if you're not charging it. I hope that was helpful. One thing I realized, the MG doesn't engage cameras when you're at low speed. It would be nice if it does that just for parking, or if there was like a not park button, but like a camera button that's not only on the display. Again, the cameras are excellent resolution, and yeah, that's that. I'm gonna wrap it here because I can talk too much. It's a late hour, and that's that. Yeah, this one does have the start stop button there, so I'm just gonna switch it off. Surprisingly, we had, actually when I started, around 10 kilometers of range, and we've spent a little bit, but we recuperated back. We're at 8 kilometers still, which is great. The petrol was running after my 0 to 100. I think it kind of not messed it up necessarily, but it decided now it's going to use the petrol all the time. Before, it was just switching to electric, so it did recuperate a little bit and recharge, and brought back some range. But again, you can just go to driving and then tell it to drive only EV or hybrid. So that's that. Let me get out here just to show the car from the exterior before it goes off. So it's a really nice looking SUV. I just wanted to show you the back end. I did show you that on the beginning of the video, but it just looks so nice. I really like the design of this one, back and forward. This is the front, so it's a gorgeous SUV. And yeah, this was really, for the very end, I need to emphasize, if you buy a plug-in hybrid, make sure you charge it. When you buy an EV, you have to charge it. You don't have a choice. But with this one, people get sometimes lazy, or they just buy it and never charge it. That defeats the purpose. You're carrying an empty battery, extra drag, spending more fuel. Then just buy a standard petrol or the hybrid. But if you buy this, make use of it. Save money, charge it overnight. That's it. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna end it here. I think they're venting the garage, so that's the noise you're hearing. That's that. See you in the next one. Bye.